here is the other map that we wanted to share.
It's great that we brought up this map because I had forgot to mention the sort of security zone that Erdogan proposed. As I said, in 2018, Turkish forces led by Erdogan invaded Afrin, and the following year, Turkish army and its proxies invaded Tel Abyad and Serekania. So these are the areas in red that you can see in this map. However, they were part of this Erdogan's broader plan for occupying entire northern Syria. He calls it the security zone that spans 13 kilometers inwards from the existing Turkish-Syrian border. And this so-called security zone would begin near Yarubiye to the north, like to the top right corner of this map, where we see a purple line beginning in Yarubiye and going through Tel Hamas, Tel Tamer, Ain Issa, Sarin, Manbij, and spanning all the way until Afrin. Now, first of all, this area makes up close to 65-70% of entire Rojava population. So the population in Rojava is primarily concentrated along this line, particularly the ethnic Kurdish population. And through this security zone, Erdogan wants to sort of kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. First, by displacing the Kurds there and ending any possible aspiration for Kurdish autonomy or self-rule in the region. And second, to use this security zone as its own occupied area where it would dump all the Syrian refugees that are scattered across Turkey and, have a sort of proxy state of its own with Arab majority population. This security zone has been hard to implement, and Erdogan has been held back because Syrian skies are not controlled by the Turkish air forces. They're controlled by American and Russian air forces. Russian air force holds aerospace control of Syria in areas that fall to the west of the Euphrates River. As we see in this map, this river that separates the areas in gray and yellow, that's the Euphrates running through Syria, and any part that falls to the west is under Russian aerospace control, and any area that's to the east of the river is under American aerospace control. And the Turkish state was able to carry out the first invasion, the 2018 Afrin invasion, because Putin gave the green light back then in exchange for some political and diplomatic tit-for-tat favors. Russia allowed Turkish planes in the region, which then accelerated the Turkish occupation of the area. Mind you, the autonomous administration does not have any aerospace and very limited military capabilities compared to the second largest army in NATO, the Turkish armed forces. In 2019, the story changed a little bit because the areas of Tel Abyad and Serekania were under American airspace control. Through some negotiations, most of them informal over the phone with Donald Trump, the president back then, Erdogan managed to convince Trump to withdraw its forces in exchange for some political favors. And when that happened, similar fate. Rojavan forces couldn't resist Turkish army and its proxies with their airplanes and other means, and Turkey managed to occupy that. So Turkey has to sort of get the blessing of the global forces before furthering its occupations to reach the security zone. Also, the acceptance, the existence, the possibility of the security zone very much rests on the blessing of either the USA or Russia, or even possibly both. So yeah, this area is helpful in outlining the threat of Turkish invasion and the political and diplomatic context in which those happen.